Now, Sports Talk with Broads. Here's Hunter Brody.
What is going on, everyone? The Philadelphia 76ers blow a 24-point lead to the OKC Thunder, and I don't care. I don't care. Mariel Shayok, back end of the fourth quarter, doesn't relate to Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, Tobias Harris, Josh Richardson, Shake Milton in late game situations. So I don't care. It means flat out nothing. It means nothing. So don't worry about it. What matters? Ben Simmons being magnificent. Shake Milton showing his versatility, being able to shoot off the dribble, pick and rolls. Not only that, attacking the rim. That was awesome. Josh Richardson, his versatility was on display in this basketball game. So that is what you should be excited about, more so than, oh wow, the 76ers blew another lead. It doesn't correlate whatsoever to the actual team in an actual game. So anyway, I digress from that. We're moving on from that. It happened. So what? Mariel Shayok is not playing real minutes. Joel Embiid. Let's get to Joel Embiid. He did not play in this game, and we are informed that there is a calf injury there. It's precautionary. We shouldn't be too concerned. And I'm going to take their word for it, although I probably shouldn't, right? We are talking about a team with a horrendous track record when it comes to communication from the medical staff to the media, to the fans, right? So why should I be giving them the benefit of the doubt? I shouldn't. But I honestly feel like this Joel Embiid injury is not that big of a deal. Where I can question it, though, is will this calf injury be a problem as he continues to play games? If he tries to play 2-3 games, is it getting so sore? Is there a problem? Is he going to be questionable before every game? Or is he going to be a game-time decision before every game? Because this calf injury isn't getting much better, or it's staying the same, and he's truly uncomfortable. We've been down this road before with Joel Embiid, so there is a bit of me inside that thinks, okay, you know what? It's probably not that big of a deal right now, but as he continues to play on it, or as he continues to log some minutes to get himself ready to go in basketball shape, is there going to be a time where something happens with that calf injury, and then from there we are now having a bigger conversation? I'll relate it to what just happened with Carter Hart, the goaltender of the Flyers. He left practice with back spasms. We knew that back spasm wasn't going to be a major problem and he would be okay, but I question now if he's going to play in some of these exhibition games or these round-robin games when the NHL returns back. Is he going to tweak his back before the playoffs in one of those moments? Is there going to be a back spasm in one of those moments? And now we are having a different conversation with Carter Hart. So that's how I correlate the two. For right now, it is what it is. I'm sure he's okay right now. Let's just hope that that calf muscle or that calf injury does not cause problems as we wait for the playoffs to start. That's all. And I think it's reasonable to have a little bit of doubt when it comes to this medical staff and the communication, just because I'm basing this off of history. If there was no reason to say that, then I could look at me and go, bro, you're an idiot. I mean, why are you just assuming that? But come on, so many times we've had problems with how injuries were being displayed and how they were being thrown out there towards this fan base and this media team. It's crazy, but it is reality. Also, speaking of injuries, Glenn Robinson III left the game. He was going head-to-head with someone by the baseline there, not physically head-to-head in terms of lowering the helmet, and we're talking NFL style here, but they were going for a loose ball, and their hips hit each other, and he left the game with a hip injury, and he will be reevaluated tomorrow. And that's a tough question to ask. Do you play your players a lot of minutes and get them out there to run up and down the floor so they can be prepared for the playoffs? Or do you tone it back a bit where, yes, they're getting some minutes, but you want to make sure that they are healthy? I think each team is going to play it differently. You got teams that do care about their first-round matchups. You have teams that are trying to make sure they don't have to play in that play-in game for the postseason. So if you're in that 8th, 7th seed type vibe, you're going to have to go all out. But when you're talking about these top 4 teams or these top 5 teams that are solidified, it's just all about seeding. What is more important, that first round matchup or making sure that your players are available, that they are healthy? They might not be in as good of shape as if they played 35 minutes, but you'd rather than play 20 to 25 and be out there on the floor when it matters. It's a tough question to ask, no doubt about it. And I do think that each team is going to play it differently. It all depends on who your players are and your current depth and where you are located in the standings at this moment. It'll just be interesting to see how it all plays out. That's all. Before we dive deeper into this, do not forget that this episode of Sports Talk with Broads is sponsored by Orbit Energy and Power, and with over 20 years of experience in the solar industry, they are home to your solar experts in residential and commercial projects. They are dedicated to making sure your project is completed easily and properly. They eliminate your electric bill completely, so check out their information that is in the description. Ben Simmons was all over the place. I mean, he was disrupting this game with his beautiful game style, his gameplay, his style of play. It was magnificent. When it comes to facilitating and passing the ball, wow, it was electric. Now, there were times where, and this is the nature of it being a glorified LA Fitness game, he was trying to throw the ball behind his back and do some fun, crazy passes, and it went out of bounds or whatever. But for the most part, the way he facilitated the game was remarkable. There's one thing that I will bring up. He did not take a three-pointer. I think Joel Embiid not being on the floor, though, was a reason why he did not take a three-pointer. Picture this. Joel Embiid in the paint, he's posting up, and then here comes the comment, Broads, he never does that. Shut up. Yes, he does. Joel Embiid backing up in the post, and he draws attention, and there's people who need to collapse into the paint, and then he can kick out to an open Ben Simmons by the perimeter. He can kick out to a wide-open Ben Simmons for a three-pointer. That wasn't the case. The defense now can totally zone in on Ben Simmons more so than when Joel Embiid is out on the floor, so that changed the way that he was open or not as open on the basketball floor. So that is a reason why I don't think he had that opportunity. He did not force it, right? He did not force a three just to take a three. And I think that there's a positive to that. But at the same time, I feel, look, here's a chance to just shoot them. Here's a chance to walk up to the three-point line and just take them. It's an exhibition. The reason why I can look at this and go, uh-oh, just a minor degree, go, uh-oh, when they scrimmaged the team from China in preseason play. He took it, he made it, you didn't see it for a long time. Then they played the Cavs. He took it, he made it, and you didn't see a three for a long time. And then he did it once more. Now, he took it, he missed. He took another one in the same game. Holy hell, he made it. Will we see it again? And I will agree that this time does feel different. I'm just bringing it up. I'm just saying, I've seen this. Just like I've seen the medical staff not properly educate everybody involved, I've seen Ben Simmons take a three-point shot and then go a long window of time without doing it again. So based off of that, I feel it's okay to go, all right, I hope he shoots it next time. I hope he does it the next game. And I admit it. There was not that many opportunities for him to just pop it like there were in the first game. But I feel with what's happening right now, it being an exhibition game, you can find a way. If I told Ben Simmons before the game started, hey, I want you to take a three-pointer, find a way without Joel Embiid on the floor to get into a spot where you could take a three. I feel like that is very, 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 very possible. And believe it or not, it's a big part of his game that needs to be added right now. So with that being said, I would have liked to see him take a three-pointer because there's a little bit inside of me that thinks, I've seen this before. I've seen him do it and then go through this crazy stretch without doing it again. So please, Ben, please take it the next time that you are on the floor. Take it the next game that they play another team. Please just do it. But I'll tell you what, rolling to the basket, straight money, him rolling to the basket is lethal. How do you stop that? How do you stop that 6'10 frame with the versatility, the length, the athleticism? How do you stop that rolling to the basket? It truly is crazy to see how powerful he can be in that role. And I expect that to happen a lot when things return in postseason play. I expect Ben Simmons to be playing that role, to be doing that so much because it is so lethal and teams are going to have to decide what to do when you see a man like Ben Simmons rolling to the basket like that. The defense was crazy. So was Matisse Thybulle. Let's talk about being active. Let's talk about learning the right times to maybe attack. Let's talk about the right times to make that gamble. It feels like Matisse Thybulle is learning the game at this speed a little differently. At Washington, he can get away with taking those chances in certain situations. Now, it has intensified a bit, so it's not the same, but you can still take your gambles. You got to pick and choose properly, the right time to do it, and that break was the best thing to ever happen to him. We talked about Ben Simmons needing that break. Matisse Thybulle was hitting the rookie wall. The rookie wall was an understatement. So what you saw out of Matisse Thybulle towards the end of the NBA break, it was nowhere even close to how much of a weapon he was and how fast, quick, explosive he was early on. He hit that big wall of playing NBA players consistently, night in and night out, doing all these road trips. It's completely different, and I feel like that break kind of let him breathe a bit and reassess where he was and then gather his, not so much endurance, but, gather all of that physical information and beatdown that he just took so he can make an explosive push here towards the end in this playoff run. I really like Shake Milton's game. I really do enjoy it. I think he can shoot the ball off the bounce. The pick and roll game is something that this team can utilize more. That was something I think we've all criticized Brett Brown for over the last couple seasons, the lack of pick and roll. But they didn't really have that many guards that can literally do it. Shake Milton has definitely surprised everyone based off of what we expected him to be in the beginning of the season, and he can totally implement that into this team. And my favorite part is the fact that he's not afraid to drive, and his ability to knock down three-pointers is what allows him to do that. Now, I don't base this off of what I saw in an exhibition game. I just see his skill set, and I know that that can translate later on when games matter, right? So it's not because he did it in this game that I think, oh, he can totally do this. That's a special thing that he can do. It's because I know that's part of his skill set, and he can do it in other games as well. That can translate into postseason basketball. When you shoot the three, the way that he shoots the three, that will allow him to attack the rim when guys try to close out on him. You're going to have to be respected defensively, and he is not afraid to go at these 7-footers, to go at the big men and try to finish at the rim, whether it's a layup, whether it's a dunk, whether it's a drive and a kick out. He's not afraid to do that, and that is important to have when you have guys like Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, and other players out there. The versatility of Shake Milton is so awesome, and I just can't wait to continue to watch the kid grow. We all questioned if it was fair to ask Shake Milton to step into this aggressive role, being a starter in the playoffs based off of just a handful of games late in the season. And I think it's a fair question to ask, but he's actually supporting it. Like, yeah, you know what? Yes, you should expect it because look at what I can do. Look what I can do with the ball in my hands, without the ball in my hands. Look at how I can shoot the ball. Look at how I can operate with Ben Simmons. Today, you saw Ben Simmons run the point forward position like beautifully. I don't think you could draw it up any better. The three-pointer being in play would have been nice, but in terms of facilitating, being a point forward, having somebody else on the floor as well that can handle the basketball, that was awesome. I mean, they knocked it out of the park in this basketball game, and the way that he sees the floor, it's sometimes so hard for me to comprehend. How can someone see the floor the way that Ben Simmons sees the floor? How can they be that fast? When he gets out and running and he gets that basketball, it's like, look out, fellas. I mean, have a fun possession here because here comes Ben Simmons. He's going to make something special happen. I would be afraid to take a charge. I would do it. You know what? I would do it because I love taking charges, and there's nothing better than seeing the ref blow the whistle and point the other way. But, I mean, I would be so afraid to be standing there watching Ben Simmons come flying down with his head on a swivel, looking for a play, or just looking at that rim attacking. I think he's only getting better and better at playing this forward position and rolling to the basket, which is already phenomenal, but because it's game experience and it's not going up against your own team in practice, you can see him getting a certain feel, getting a certain vibe, getting a certain spots on the floor that he wants to utilize when things start to get serious. And I love looking at that part of his game, looking at where he wants to be on the floor, where he wants to facilitate from that spot, how he does these passes on certain points of the floor. Like there's these times where he gets the ball kind of by the top of the key area, and the way that he looks for Shake Milton to come around, and then from there he's cutting hard to the rim, and all of it. I mean, it's fascinating to watch this team grow together. And I will say the intensity of them, it is nice, because you do see teams that flat out don't give a damn during these games. And not LeBron, though. I was watching LeBron play the other day, and this dude was diving all over the court. He was flying into the, I guess they're not really benches, but, flying onto the floor, diving for loose balls. He's going hard for loose balls on the middle of the court. It was just crazy. He was all over the place, and I'm thinking, this dude's 35 years old, and he's giving it all he has in these Laker exhibition games, and that just sets the tone, though. That type of intensity, that type of hard work, it sets the tone for his teammates to say, hey, I don't care what type of game this is. We are going to properly play this game hard every time we touch the floor, because when things do get crazy, when things do get important, we're going to be in the proper mindset. And when you take 4.5 months off, I'm sorry, it's hard to transition back to postseason play. It's not the same as going through an 82-game regular season and somewhat having nights off on Tuesdays in October and things of that nature. You're talking about a pandemic hitting, putting the season on hold, and then having to figure it out from there. So 2 totally different scenarios. But watching LeBron do that, I was mesmerized. And then I see the way that this 76ers team is playing, and I see very similar traits with this squad. I mean, they are going all out. They are doing everything that they have to do in exhibition games. It doesn't matter about the result at all. It does not matter one bit who finished with what, the score, anything like that. I just want to see the team playing well, gelling, hustling, and looking like they're properly prepared and mentally checked in. And there's no doubt you saw that. I mentioned how you saw it in Ben and Shake Milton. I think you also saw it with Josh Richardson as well. His versatility really showed. What he can do on the defensive side of the ball is very important. And then you saw him being able to score some buckets as well. So that was definitely super nice to see. Al Horford, you do question what the hell is happening defensively at times. Is it his age? Is it the way that he's just in a bad spot with the mismatch at times? But offensively, he knocked down a couple threes early after he had one terrible shot. But after that, he knocked down 3 threes early, and he was able to shoot the rock that way. There are times defensively, though, it makes you cringe. What the hell? And I remember hearing from Boston fans that they despised Al Horford throughout the regular season, and then the postseason came, and then here's Uncle Al. Uncle Al's ready to perform. So I'm just hoping that that is what's going to happen here in Philadelphia as well, that Uncle Al will show up in the postseason, and he's a little underwhelming throughout regular season because it's a different game. Running up and down, running up and down, running up and down in regular season and these exhibition games, that's the way that it goes. But in the playoffs, it's different. That's why I said Furkan Korkmaz the other day, running up and down. Like, this is his type of game. Gunning, running and gunning, shooting threes. So there's going to be moments where Furkan Korkmaz is definitely doing his thing. But will it be the same way when things get to the point where it's a slower paced game? Rooting for Furkan, though. I am. No doubt about it. I had my moments where I shredded the guy. I would have never imagined in a million years that he would be in the spot that he's in now. If you date back to 2 seasons ago, it was abysmal. Couldn't stand him. And there were times throughout this year that I couldn't stand him. But he's grown on me. His shooting is definitely there. The reason why I did not like him, I said, it wasn't even the defense at that point. He's a 3-point specialist, and I'm using air quotes, but he can't even shoot the 3 well. His 3-point shooting isn't even good. It has groomed into about 40%, which is totally a 3-point specialist. Now, how does he put it all together? But I'm rooting for him. He's a glue guy. The guys love him. His personality is tremendous. The boys root for him. When he does big things, you can sense that there is a vibe surrounding the team that gives them a jolt. So you gotta respect the hell out of the glue guy. My whole entire career, I was a glue guy. So if I see one, I gotta tip my cap and say, hey, glue guy, keep doing your thing. Keep being that glue guy, you know? Speaking of glue guys, Norvel Pelle. I'll tell you what, Norvel Pelle is intriguing. I really don't know how many minutes he's going to be getting in postseason play, but just in terms of long term, Norvel Pelle is intriguing. This dude, he's a glue guy, man. I'll tell you what. I said Furkan gets the bench going, which he does, but Norvell Pell is a different type of level, and that's not a disrespect on Furkan. I think that just shows you what Norvell Pell is like when it comes to that energy. The guys feed off of everything he does without a doubt. I wonder what the job is going to be for Norvell Pell down the road, but he is a rim protector. He's able to get up and down the floor. He does have things to learn, absolutely. He fouls a lot. He's not like he's a phenomenal shooter by any means, although you don't really need him to be. He's an interesting guy, and I wonder what his role is going to be moving down the road here, because he is a very intriguing player without a doubt. I don't sense much this postseason play. I'm just talking about as a 76er as a whole. But how about Robertson? He was plus 29 in 15 minutes. Robertson was unbelievable at the end. And by the way, Mike Scott was like the complete opposite. He was, I think, minus 26 in 15 minutes, something like that. Ooh, not a good night for Mike Scott with the plus-minus department, while Robertson's out there cooking and shredding people up. Remarkable story. You definitely have to appreciate what he has done throughout his journey. It was a tough journey. He had to battle stuff, but here he is. He's finally getting back on the court, and he said that he's not taking any of these moments for granted, and realistically, he should not be taking of those moments, but it's a cool story, no doubt. Hopefully, he can continue what he did in this basketball game and move it forward for the rest of his career, because you root for guys like that. You root for guys that go through some things, and they got to battle, and from there, you know, their entire career shifts, but can they get it back on track? And we'll see what happens with Robertson. So there you have it. There's your second game for exhibition basketball. 76ers. Your 76ers. 76ers. That was a horrible, horrible attempt. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode. I want to hear your thoughts on Ben Simmons, Josh Richardson, Shake Milton, and more. Who cares about the blown lead? Do not forget that this episode is sponsored by Orbit Energy and Power. Their information is in the description. They can eliminate your electric bill completely. Thank you so much. We are getting closer and closer. The time is flying by. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time.